Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 598 for May 7th, 2025. Hello, everybody. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks for coming on back to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Got a great Ham Nation for you this week. But first, we're going to say hi to our wonderful hosts. Haven't talked in 2 weeks, and we got a lot going on. So how you doing tonight, hosts?
Yo!
Hi.
Hello, hello. And that crisp, beautiful voice of Amanda, she figured out her audio problems. It sounds wonderful, just like it's always been. You solved the problem wonderfully. Great job, Amanda.
Thank you. It only took a sledgehammer, a blowtorch, and some duct tape.
That's some plastic
that's all?
explosives. Yeah.
That's all.
Just every ham
a-
solution all rolled into one, right?
And a
Seriously.
voodoo doll.
Yeah. Well, starting at the top, Gordo, how you doing?
All is well here. We have sunny weather here in Southern California. This past week, we had a big convention up in Big Bear where it snowed in Southern California. But that's going to bring good weather to Dayton Hamvention coming up in 2 weeks, where it will be sunny weather for all those swappers.
That's right. That's right. And Don, how are you doing this evening?
I'm well. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to go to Hamvention, but I have my Hamvention 2025 lanyard. I'm drinking some tea out of the Hamvention 2017 beer mug, which I will drink all this tea post haste and then refill it with beer later on. So
I was like, wait a second, tea? Where are we going
A
with
toast.
tea?
Yeah.
a toast to all who are going to Hamvention. No Dr. T tonight. She's been very, very busy, but we will have the Newsline folks. And right up off the top, I want to thank a special group of people for inviting me to their amateur radio club meeting last night via Zoom. It was the Riverland Amateur Radio Club up in Onalaska, Wisconsin. Whiskey 9 Uniform Papa. Really great bunch of people. We had a nice Q&A session and just met some really neat people up there. And so to the folks up there in the W9UP, the Riverland Amateur Radio Club, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Be happy to stop back in anytime. So those are nice people up there, Josh.
That's wonderful. I love to hear it. Very
Yeah.
good. And Amanda, let's hear that wonderful voice again. How you been doing? How you doing this week?
Well, fantastic. Thank you, Josh. And it's been a crazy last 2 days. We in Colorado, first of all, we're usually drought country. If it's not snowing, it's dry and hot. So we in Canyon City, we got 3.25 inches of rain in the last about 36, 48 hours. Craziness. So
That's a lot of rain.
anyhow,
That is a lot of
that's
rain.
yeah, we don't see that all summer long. I'm just saying. So anyhow, swimming out of that, but all is well. And we have such a great show tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of ramping up for Hamvention, and we're also going to be talking with the Deep Space Exploration Society, and everybody gets to learn what they're doing out in basically the middle of nowhere in Colorado, and how they're bouncing waves not only on EMEs, but they've also successfully done an EVE. So you're going to hear from two gentlemen from there. And also, we're going to have Hammet, Can It, or What Hammet? So crowded show. Everyone stick around, and I'll be trying to watch chat, but mostly that's Josh's job tonight.
I will. You're going to be busy, so very good.
No. So I'll send it over to Gordo. Gordo, take it away for us.
All right. Well, thanks, Amanda. And speaking of deep space, let's take a look and see what's happening with shallow space. Here we go. And I'm very happy to say that we are ready to enter the peak of the space activity, low space, you may want to say, in that May, June is the time that we have sporadic E coming to our 10 meter and 6 meter and sometimes even the 2 meter band. Now, you can't really see when you're going to have these conditions, but there are 6 meter enthusiasts that say, I can look at the clouds and I can tell when there's going to be a high level wind shear. And wind shear has everything to do with sporadic E. And sporadic E is what allows you to be on the 6 or 10 meter band that might be just absolutely dead, just nothing around there. And then all of a sudden, you hear this is W1AW, and you go, oh, come on, get out of here. You got to be local. Nope, that's sporadic E, double hop to the West Coast. And that happens right now in May and June. So we're at the very, very peak. Well, let's take a look and see what's above us in shallow space. Up to about 10 miles of altitude, that's where the airplanes fly and the balloons fly, and where we get a lot of local weather conditions. And as we go higher than 10 miles to about 30 miles up, we run into the stratosphere. And then beyond that, the mesosphere, 30 to 50 miles, and then the thermosphere. And this is where we're going to begin to have just enough wind capabilities to create wind shears. And that's what's going to give us all those ions and electrons that are going to bend, refract your 6 meter signal coming all the way back down to where you're located and out to as far as 1,500 miles. So that is your look at the E layer in the ionosphere. Now, the D layer absorbs the radio waves at nighttime, but it goes away during the day. Excuse me, I made that just wrong. The T layer shows up at nighttime, and that's why we have good nighttime sky waves on HF on the lower bands. But during the day, the D layer disappears. The E layer is eccentric. Sometimes it'll show up out of absolutely nowhere during daylight hours, usually in the mid morning and early evening. And when it occurs, it does some amazing things to those of you with a tech license on the 10-meter band. So we'll keep our eye on the E layer. The E layer is patches of ions and free electrons that are created by wind shears called the Lorentz force. And these combine in enough heavy patches that it will refract radio waves back down about 1,500 miles on the 10-meter band, and sometimes even further, and quite often double hop on the 6-meter band. And as you see right here, we're right now in the prime time, May and June, that you want to start listening, you technician class operators and up, to the excitement on 10 meters. Because when you get skywaves off of an E layer patch, and they are a patch of very intense ionization, and that patch is going to move from west to east, going anywhere from 60 miles per hour to 150 miles per hour, depending as to the wind patterns. In fact, these patches can get so severe that Dr. T will many times say that those that are into tracking on GPS, you may find that your signals on the global positioning system are not going to be as accurate. You go, well, how can that be? They're coming from space. No, they get caught up in the E layer. And as you can see, they take some little ricochets before they leave the E layer and come back down to Earth, where we can, through trilateration, find our position. So whether it's local weather that is cloudy or rainy or whatever, or hot and dry, that's not going to affect us up in the thermosphere, as well as the ionosphere, where the D layer and the E layer are most intense. The E layer, though, is usually a daylight occurrence, as the D layer is usually a nighttime occurrence. So it's the E layer has nothing to do with just local weather down here. So whether it's sunny or not, it's not going to make a big difference due to the weather. A lightning storm, yep, that sometimes will create little clouds of ionization, and your conversation is about 5 to 10 words before they fade away. Same thing with meteor scatter. But good old E layer, when we have all of the wind shears up anywhere from 50 to 100 miles, that's where we're going to begin to hear radio waves that are refracting back to Earth on 10 meters and 6 meters. Many times, hams can tell that we're going to have some skywave conditions on 6 meters by looking at their band scope. And normally you see a nice clear band scope, but when you see your band scope look like this, and you've not changed the setting at all, that means something big is happening with the ionosphere. And sometimes it's quite sudden. This is an interesting shot. that shows that it was real active on causing waves to come back down along with a ton of static, and then all of a sudden it clears up and then it comes back again. And you know you have an E layer contact on high frequency when the signal is strong and then the fella gets real weak and then it comes back strong again over a 30-second period, always up and down for signal strength. Very, very common. And very common when you have conditions of a double hop. And right now, they are forecasting that the Glinsberg cycle, this is a centennial cycle of sunspots, is going to give us more sunspots this year than years in the past, as well as another few more years, the same thing again. So sunspots, while they do affect the F layer, they really don't affect the E layer. The E layer is that one that is affected by wind shears. Now, when the sunspots emit strong X-rays and solar flares, particles like electrons and protons and heavy nuclei, they're heated and accelerated in the solar atmosphere. And this is what allows our radio waves to get caught up and refract, not reflect, but refract off of that. And here's one during the solar eclipse up in Idaho, and you can begin to see some of the activity on the outside corona of the cycle. But here's the trigger for E layer. It is the west and east collision of wind shears, and it actually will begin to heat up that area, and ions and free electrons become so intense that they will react to short wavelengths. 6 meters and 10 meters, very common for E layer skip. Uh, the lower bands, the wavelength is too long, so they're not affected. But the higher bands, like 2 meters, even 432, a couple of contacts have been made off of the E layer. Now here, take a look at that on the screen. Is where you're going to be able to really get some good analysis of what's happening. And you'll notice that when that chart comes up, you're going to be seeing contacts first starting on the East Coast. And those of you on the East Coast, oh, you're so lucky. You can work Europe easily off a sporadic E and occasionally F on 6 meters quite easily. So Ken Newbeck, WB2AMU, says, yeah, it's already happening. No problem working Europe. Boy, we never hear Europe on sporadic E. It's just too many hops away. So, all you Europeans listening to us and watching tonight, stand by. A lot of the East Coast folks will be calling you. So, again, it's not the big thunderheads that may give us a 2 or 3 second opening on the VHF bands, but rather it is the wind shears. And there are hams that say, I can see on a clear day what could be wind shears. And if you listen real carefully on 6 meters, turn the volume way up so everybody in the house is going, oh my God, you got the volume turned all the way up. And you hear a little tsh, tsh. That's a band opening ready to happen. And that telltale sign is one that in about 20 minutes, you're going to begin to hear signals coming in. So grab that dial, 50.125 for sideband and 28.400 for sideband on 10 meters, and start tuning around a little high and a little low. And on the 10 meter band, 28.200 to 28.300 is where you're going to hear all of those beacons coming in. So right now, we're just beginning to enter the peak of the E layer activity. And I sure hope all of you have an opportunity to work some good skip off of E layer sporadic E excitement. Amanda, your questions, please.
The magic band is starting to open. Yes. And lots of comments in the chat about how they've been hearing stuff on 6. So to address somebody else, yes, this is the time E layer opens. That's why they have an excellent UHF VHF contest in June.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this whole phenomena that happens right around now. So
it is so regular that the league actually built that contest on the peak of E layer sky waves.
Absolutely. We love those afternoon thunderstorms to come through and come over us and then crack open, and then there's 6 an hour later. So
That's
uh,
right.
we're loving it. Well, thank you, Gordo. I don't think, Josh, did I miss
I got
any
a question.
questions?
I do have a
Okay.
question real quick. If you're going to go hunt after sporadic E, is there a particular antenna? I mean, it's probably all mixed up polarization wise, but for 10 meters or 6 meters, is there something you recommend?
We have found that vertical or horizontal on, let's say, a 3-element 10-meter beam or a 5-element 6-meter beam really doesn't make a difference. In fact, a lot of folks think that the polarization rolls, and that's why signals are strong and then they get weak and then they're strong again, typical of E-layer skywaves. But even a ground plane or a 5-band trap vertical that may include the 6-meter band, they're very effective in working E-layer. But a good 3-element beam and on 6 meters, that you can hold that in your hand. That's going to work a lot of skyways.
I didn't see anything else in the chat.
Nope, you got it.
Okay, well, we're going to jump on over to Hamvention, and I'm going to address a hot issue here in the chat. No, I am not going to Dayton. I have never been, and maybe one of these days I will make it, but it is always a very busy time of the year at the print shop right before turf season, and it has never been conducive for me to take that much time off to go. So I apologize, fans, one of these days, or maybe I'll make it up at another convention. But Mike, how are you? Nice to see you.
Well, hey, it's great to be here, everybody. And I really enjoyed your talk there, Gordo. As always, you're very informative. And, you know, I'm going to miss you in Dayton this year. I've seen him give these talks for many years, and I'm always fascinated with him. And I learn from him. Great job, Gordon. And great job to all of you. This is Ham Nation is just such a wonderful thing that, you know, is kept alive, and it brings so much to so many people. And there's so much to learn about amateur radio. And for me, before I get too started here or too far along, amateur radio is not really a hobby for me. It's a way of life. And I think that's probably true for all of you. You know, that's what I do morning to night. I love amateur radio. So anyway, let's talk about Dayton. Things are really coming together in Dayton. And you know, last year we had record crowds. We had like 35, I think over 35,000 people. Wow. That's a lot of people. But the nice thing is, and those of you who have been there know that this location can easily handle it. And we work on everything from, tried to get to the minutest details. You wouldn't believe all the small details that really make a difference at running a big event like that. And, you know, our volunteers, and I really got to shout out to our volunteers. I'm just a volunteer, and we have between 600 and 700 volunteers. I don't know the total number this year.
Wow.
We start immediately after Hamvention, just start planning for the next Hamvention. And there's so many things that we look at. I mean, just for the simple thing, you would think it'd be easy just getting insurance for an event that big. And a lot of people say, what? You're going to have over 35,000 people? We're not interested. Or we'll insure part of it. But no, we've got it all covered. And the only thing that we hire there, of course, you know, we rent the location. And I will say that the folks there in Greene County have been great to work with. And at the Expo Center, great to work with. And we have regular meetings with them. And we have good fire and EMS there. And a lot of people don't realize this, but we actually have a SWAT team that's heading away there too, just to be on the safe side with an event that big. And we do a lot of planning around safety for people there too. But all that aside, we are expecting great weather. We have a wonderful, and food has always been a big thing. When I was, when we were at Hera Arena, we always had complaints about the food. You know, it was too expensive, or there just wasn't a good selection. Now, I think everybody can agree with me. There's an excellent selection of food, and we let the the fairgrounds people, the expo people, pick them and bring them in. But we approve them, and we just approved the list. I don't know, was it yesterday? I think we we reviewed it and went, yeah, this is good. Except bring back the lady that makes the noodles, mashed potatoes and noodles and chicken. It was so good. Anyway, we all have our
Yeah.
favorites there.
Yeah.
We all
I,
have our.
I heard that cheesecake on a stick is kind of a winner too, and the
Yeah.
pork chop sandwich.
Oh yeah, we have. I mean, and there's steak sandwiches. When you go out, the way that Hamvention's set up, if you've never been there, and it is like a.
Mike, you have talked about how good the food is there. So why don't you tell us what else to expect? How about those forums?
Well, yeah, the forums are that's one of the things that built Hamvention were the forums, and we really get a lot of great applications. We think we have some really world-class, well, they are world-class forums, and if there's a topic you want to know about, there's contesting, there's antennas, there's POTA, there's SOTA, there's some great youth forums that are going to take place, both run by the RCA, the Radio Club of America, as well as the ARL is going to have some youth activities. And I will point out that one forum that might be very interesting is a forum about AI. And this is a group of pretty esteemed, I would call them scientists, that are going to come in and talk about AI and how they see it may affect amateur radio. So stay tuned for a really good one there.
That one sounds really interesting.
And we do live stream everything and record them. And we have some really, I think that our team that's doing that does just an outstanding job. I want to say too, I'm switching a little bit off of forums because you can find out about all these forums on our website or download the ARL app, and you can find that at our website as well. But I want to mention that when you're in town, there are a lot of good repeaters to use. There's and you're welcome. People are welcome to use them, and it's always fun for me to listen to all the people from actually all over the world that come in, and a lot of them will jump on the repeaters. We have a special event station, and we have, it should be a lot better this year because we have put up a big tower, and we're using a big JK antennas up there. So working with Ray Novak, he is helping set up the station itself with our people. So it should be a very, very nice special event station. So look that up. But let's talk a minute about all the vendors. By the way, it's completely sold out. It's been sold out since February for vendors. And the flea market, we have found more flea market spaces that I think are pretty good. We've freed up more spaces, so there'll be more flea markets in our vendors there in the flea market. And I don't know how anybody can walk all that in 3 days and pay its justice. You got to move quick. And there are a lot of international people that come, and I mentioned some of the evening activities, lots of great evening activities. So take a look and find those out. I know there's 4 days in May. I don't know if they're booked yet or whatever, but that's a great event. You can look into that. And on Contest University, which is the Thursday before, and they have there's other trainings and other activities that are going on. But man, when you go to Hamvention, don't expect to sleep if you're going to take the full dose of what's going on. Gordy, you know that. You've been, gosh, we've been going since Hera Arena even.
A long time, and you're right. You're just torn between all of the great things happening.
So that means a lot of things take place off of the Xenia grounds as well, right? A lot of hotels.
Yeah.
And things. Yeah.
Right, after hours things, and but you can find out about those. You can find out on websites. You can, after that's a good thing to just Google. Probably is after hour events at Hamvention, and we expect. I will say that the ticket sales are stronger this year at this time than they were last year. Last year was a record year, and so we're expecting a lot of people. but we're ready for it. And you know, there might be some things that go wrong, some things you don't like, but you know what? This is done 100% by volunteers. You know, just amateur radio operators with the passion for excellence in a presentation for amateur radio. And these men and women who put this on, they work so hard. They're so dedicated to making this the best. So if things aren't exactly right, you know, bear with it, because we'll fix it, and let us know if we need to fix something, and we try to respond to it. You know, the first year in 2017, I don't know if any of you remember that, but I imagine some of the folks out there remember that. We had, you know, every few years we get the 100-year rain. We had one. And so I stay there on site in an RV right near the entrance. And so I'm hearing all this heavy rain all night going, oh my gosh. I'm thinking everybody's stuck in the parking lot. Nobody's going to come. It's going to be a disaster. We got up and the rain stopped, and we went ahead and had it, and it worked out well. But we had some hiccups in the infield. That's before we laid down we have you know, basically some roads that we built in the infield where we have the flea market, and we keep the grass cut down there pretty well, and so that people can move around in there and get their vehicles through there. But with that 100-year rain, you know, we had people complaining about all the mud, and I don't blame them. But we decided that we had thought that maybe the best thing was we'd set up a booth and sell boots and commemorative mud from I'm just kidding, but you know, that's the way we have to look at things at Hamvention. You know, we get criticism, but it's such a beautiful event, and if you really understand the spirit of it and the spirit of amateur radio, it is you know, one of my favorite things I like to tell people is, yep, we take a slamming and we keep on hamming, and that's pretty much what we do at Hamvention. Right. And I want everybody that goes, you know, to thank a volunteer, because when
definitely
they're going to drive you up in a golf cart. They're going to bring you from parking. Maybe you're parking way out there. We're going to bring you up to the door. We have ways to set up that if you got to go get your car and haul a boat anchor out that you bought in the flea market, will help you with that. We got a place where, like a wheel call place, and get a special pass out near the flea market. And the vendors, I must say, some of the booths are just so spectacular. I think they all are, but these booths are just absolutely beautiful. You know, carpeting, wonderful curtains, and lots of signs, things hanging all over the place that are just beautiful. And people are there to really help you. But if you love amateur radio and you've never been to Hamvention, you know, you're really missing out. And I know I get this, well, I just, you know, it's too far to go, and it may be, but it is a trip of a lifetime if you're an amateur radio operator. And I hope all of you agree with that. And I don't know what the chat is, but we have so many younger people, and I credit shows like Ham Nation for bringing younger people, and a lot of the YouTube stuff that I see for getting people, younger people, much more interested in it, and all the new technology, and it'll all be there. All that technology will be there.
So tons of deals too. Everybody always has a Dayton special, so.
Yeah, they do, and I actually, we've had some people try to have a Dayton special, and they aren't at Dayton. And we don't go for that very good, because it's not fair to them.
Well, all I can say is that I have heard thousands of people say you have to do it at least once, and I have never heard anyone say don't do that. So there you go.
Well, thank you. I do hope that you come sometime. All of you come, and you know, there's something there for everybody. I don't. You know, Joe Taylor, he used to come regular, and I mean, there's a Nobel Prize winner, and you know, there's other people that come up, the folks that run HARP, the folks that run used to run Arecibo, they're there, and there's just, you'll meet a lot of people. And when you're at Hamvention, take the time to talk to somebody, meet people, and you'll make friends from people all over the world. And for me, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world, to Japan, India, Central America, through Europe, and once was even a keynote speaker at Friedrichshafen. And I will tell you that that's all because of amateur radio. And it's a brotherhood or fraternity or whatever you want to call it. But we have a responsibility, I think, as amateur radio operators, to understand each other, understand other cultures. And once we start tearing people down or tearing organizations down, we've lost it, because we want to try to support everybody and not get into the fray or drama or whatever things that may be happening. You got to rise above it. I mean, who wants to be an amateur radio operator if it's full of drama? So yeah. Fortunately for our club, the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, we see very little of that. And we're just so happy. I mean, I'm not sure how we get almost 700 people to work for nothing. They get a hat, a pass, but they put their hearts into it.
And they're working the whole weekend. So
that's right. And that's the true love of amateur radio. And like I said, amateur radio is, to me and to many of us, it's not a hobby, really. It's a way of life. So were there any questions out of that chat room? I don't want to take all night doing this, so because you got important things to talk about.
Lots of people showing the love for Hamvention. I know we got a lot of people that are coming out, so that's one of the big things. Lots of comments from veterans like, wear comfy shoes. It's like Vegas. Expect the boneyard might have rougher terrain, so you got to be ready for that. Looks like I was showing the list of vendors in the flea markets, and it just kept going. I was about to give up on finding the bottom of it, so it looks like it's going to be a packed show. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. And it's so much fun. And like I say, be sure to thank a volunteer. And a lot of these people, they don't hardly get thanked. I mean, we try as volunteers, we thank the other volunteers, but it's great when the people that come there recognize the fact that this is just a club putting this on. This is a club that's been doing this for a long time, and we don't pay anybody to be some kind of a big consultant for us or a big, hey, we're going to run this show for you. We did that once. Big mistake. Oh. And we got away from that. That's a whole nother story. But
we did get one. Where do you buy the raffle tickets? Most important question.
Yes, definitely.
The only thing with the raffle tickets is, we're a little different, is that you don't buy, if you want to buy an extra raffle ticket, you got to buy an extra ticket, because we get so many people that we decided that instead of selling a bunch of extra raffle tickets, you take your ticket and there'll be signs there on your ticket stub where to drop it in. So we don't sell a bunch of extra raffle tickets, and there are some amazing prizes. And the prize list is just unbelievable. I mean, some of these organizations have donated so much, and we're so grateful for that. And the vendors do so much as well. And like people like you, Josh, and your folks that come in there and put on that forum, that's all part of Hamvention. And and our theme, I want to talk just for a second what our theme is. Every year we have a theme, and our theme this year is radio independence. Think of that, radio independence. And in this day and age, that is so important, because there have been places in the world that have not had radio independence, and that's happening now, and it could happen even more. So we cherish that. We cherish our as far as our club goes, we cherish our autonomy. I think I used that word wrong, but we cherish the fact that we are independent of any other organizations. We cherish the fact that we have all these great radio privileges to use. And if we, want to spread that around, and what radio independence really means, I mean, think about it. What does it mean to you? And that's a big thing. We talk about that a lot, just in some of our meetings, and with other groups. What does that mean, radio independence? And that's why we chose the theme. It's a lot to think about.
It is. It's deep.
Yeah, well, it's 2 words. When we come up with a theme, we want to run with it. As you can see, Chuck Wright, who did every year he does this great logo or a theme for us, and he did the theme this year, that compass, which I think is just beautiful. And if in those of you who are into CW, you'll see the CW ring, one of the rings in there, and but also with the growth of POTA and SOTA. I mean, that's radio independence right there, and and YouTube itself is helping this radio independence. I also want to mention too that on the website there, Chuck, who designed he's an excellent artist. He designed that logo. He has a YouTube out, where to POTA when you're in Dayton area. And I looked it over, and we wanted to get it on the site. It's just well done video, not too long, but it has some of our favorite places in there. So he's letting you in on some good secrets. So if you like POTA, there you go.
Oh, everybody loves POTA.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's some great parks around here. I mean, people go, it's just Ohio, but I live in the southern part of Ohio. I live in south of Xenia, about 8-10 miles or so. I live on Kilowatt Hill, and just below me is Caesars Creek State Park, beautiful state park, nice lake on it. Nobody's allowed to build on the lake. Wonderful campground, and I guarantee that place will be absolutely crawling with hams.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, Mike, we are running low on time, so.
Oh, any other questions? Any other questions?
Josh, anything?
No, I think we got them. You hit most of it, and I think we got a lot of veterans in the chat, so we appreciate you, Mike.
That was
coming
awesome.
I just have a quick
veterans.
comment. I've got a quick comment, if I may. Michael Coulter, you are such an ambassador, not only for Hamvention, but also for the hobby at large. And I will say that even though you're, like, for us, the face of Hamvention, your enthusiasm trickles down to every single volunteer that I have ever encountered. And I've been going most of the year since 1999. That was my first time. I haven't been in probably 4 years now. I've got my 2017, the first year of Xenia mug here. But I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm and what you do, not only for Hamvention, but for the hobby at large. You're a great ambassador. And like I said, your enthusiasm is mirrored in every single volunteer that you guys have. So please thank them for us, if you would.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike.
You know
we'll
what?
See you again next year.
Been really a pleasure. And if anybody who's hearing me is coming out there, if you see me, say hello. Hey, have a safe journey.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys keep on with this great program. 7-3, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
We're going to hear a word from Icom.
Ham radio fans, mark your calendars. Come see the latest gear, get hands-on with Icom's most popular radios, and connect with the team behind the tech. Whether you're a seasoned operator or just getting started, Icom has something for everyone. Stop by the Icom booth and experience the innovation that keeps you on the air. See you at Hamvention. Introducing Icom's IC7760, the pinnacle of base station excellence for amateur radio enthusiasts. Designed to deliver unmatched performance, the IC7760 features state-of-the-art technology, exceptional RF clarity, and an intuitive interface, all housed in a sleek and durable design. The base station features a separate remote control head and RF deck, providing excellent flexibility for installation. Place the RF deck closer to the antenna feed point, freeing up space on your desk. You can also connect the control head to the RF deck through your home network, enabling remote operation from anywhere in your home without need for a PC. Pair the IC7760 with the powerful ICPW2 linear amplifier and take your contesting experience to the next level. The ICPW2 seamlessly integrates with the IC7760 delivering a massive power boost and enabling enhanced long-distance communications with DPD, digital predistortion, and a built-in 2x6 automatic antenna selector for SO2R single operator 2 radios. Together, they define what's possible in amateur radio, setting a new standard for global connectivity and reliability. For more information about all of Icom's great amateur radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur.
A massive thank you to Icom America for sponsoring Ham Nation. We very much appreciate it. Every time we are live, you can take the first link in the video description, and you click that Enter Now button, fill in your name, your email, and your call sign. If you have one, you don't have to have a license to win. We give away 2 swag packs every time we're live, and then at the end of the month, we pick a winner for the Radio of the Month. Sometimes the days are a little skewed because of the weeks that we are live, because we're live every 2 weeks. So we're going to view those winners in a second. But what are we giving away this month? Let's see. Go on down to May. It's a big month. It's an ID 5100 Alpha. So if we click on View Winners, oh, a big win to Zachary N, KK7WCP. You're the winner of the 5100. As well as Carl C., Eric P., Scott S. You all won swag packs. So your name just got entered into the list. You may win a radio the next month and the month after that and the rest of this entire year. So thanks again to Icom for all the support. We very much appreciate it. We're going back to Amanda, and she's got some more amazing guests. We're going into outer space this time.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited to have these guys on, and it's so crazy that they're in my home state here, and this is the first time I've had a chance to introduce them. Anyhow, we're going to be talking to Deep Space Exploration Society. Sorry, guys. Paul, you were the first to respond to me. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, we're doing really great, Amanda. Thank you very much for having us on tonight. And I'm a member, I guess, not that long. Back in, I joined the Deep Space Exploration Society back in 2022, and the reason why I joined them at that time was I've always wanted to hear my voice off the moon. I've never heard my voice off the moon, and I've never seen an antenna that big. And I was so surprised to find that there's this excellent organization that has been refurbishing this antenna in southeast Colorado. And it is like in the middle of nowhere, but that's the beauty of it. The landscape is pretty flat, so you don't have anything in the way. But I also had a problem with my ham station because I was living in a condominium, and I needed a place to put the station. And lucky for me, the DSES was very helpful in relocating my station to the bunker at the DSES. And you'll hear more about that here in a minute.
Awesome.
This year I was fortunate enough to be the president of the DSCS. So it allows me to do a lot of things, which I did before anyway. But it's a great place, a great group. So that's kind of my background here so far. I've been licensed for a long time. I call Nancy Oscar 0 Tango, and I'm on 6 meters a lot. And on the 6 meter and the front range 6 meter group. So that's another
Fantastic
group I'm in. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, thank you. And we also have Bill with us, KC0FHN. How are you doing, Bill? How did you get involved with DSES?
Well, I got involved probably about 10 or 12 years ago. A gentleman named Ray Uberekin, who's a ham here. He is also a professional radio station engineer, probably installed every radio station and television station on the Front Range of Colorado. So I call him Dr. Radio. He got me involved. I went to the site, saw what they had, said, I've got to have this. You know, where else could you play around with something this magnitude? And so I'm going to show you what that's all about.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're going to share your screen and kind of show us the station and talk a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Okay. This is we're the Deep Space Exploration Society. We're for amateur radio and amateur radio astronomy and STEM education and scientific experimentation. So we do all of those things. And it's kind of an interesting mix of hobbies and different individuals interested in different things. See if I can get this thing to move here. Here we go. So the DSES, we own and operate a 60-foot radio dish far out on the eastern plains near Haswell, Colorado. There's a picture of my Durango in the shadow of the dish. Gives you some idea of how large this thing really is. When you're standing in it, there's Alex standing in the middle of the dish. There's the dish pointed at almost at the sun, probably doing moon bounce because the moon was near the sun on that day. But we've also captured a 30-foot dish in a silent key, and the widow gave us this dish here, and we went out and got that last year. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So the charter, the Deep Space Exploration Society, we're a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 organizations. We're dedicated to radio astronomy and advocacy for space exploration, radio education for students, the general public, and a lot for our own selves. You know, we're teaching ourselves how to do this. We strive to continuously update and improve our facility, and it's all about mostly radio astronomy and ham radio. So since 2007, when we took the site over, we've been working to restore this 60-foot dish. It was actually built in about 1959. It was used as a tropospheric scatter experimentation station by the government until about 1974, and then it was abandoned, and it sat there from 1974 till about 2007 when our group started restoring the site. It was owned by a person named Paul Plishner. He was a radio contractor with the government. And in about 2008, our president at the time, Michael Lowe, asked Mr. Plishner if he'd donate the dish to us. And he did. And so we named the site the Paul Plishner Radio Astronomy and Space Sciences Center after him. He passed away in November of 2016. But we appreciate his generosity and keep that name into perpetuity. Here's the dish specifications at 400 megahertz to 2 gigahertz. We think we can go to 10 gigahertz with the dish surface, 60 feet, 18.3 meters. It has 42.5 dBi of gain at 1 gigahertz. And so we get a lot of gain out of the dish that's coming and going. So when we do moon bounce, we pick up about 84 dB of gain just from the dish alone. It has a beam width of about 2.6 degrees at 400 megahertz, but 0.8 degrees at 1.2 gigahertz. So it's very narrow beam width, and we can track much narrower than that. So we have full tracking, full hemispherical azimuth and elevation to track any celestial object, including the planets and the moon. It's capable of standing really high wind loads up to 50 miles an hour, and it can withstand, and that's when it's operating. We can withstand 120 miles an hour with 3 inches of ice on the dish in normal bird bath position, in the stowed position. So it's quite strong. Here you see the superstructure that supports the dish surface, and that's all 8-inch and 10-inch heliarc welded aluminum tubing. And then the dish surface is a aircraft grade aluminum surface with 1/4-inch holes in it to let the water out, and also slightly reduce the wind load, but doesn't do much for the wind load. That's Ray Uberek, and they're the guy that was the original evangelicist of this organization, and he's working there inside the dish. So in 2022, we needed a new operations center. We were operating out of this old trailer that they brought down from the National Institute of Standards in Boulder. And we needed a bigger place to operate. You could get about 5 people into that trailer. During COVID, if somebody sneezed, everyone ran out of the building. So we needed a larger space. So we put in a request and got a grant from the Amateur Radio Digital Communications Group to build our building. And so with COVID and all the supply chain shortages and labor shortages, we went well into 2023 working on this, and we've just now really finished the building. It's an 1,800 square foot facility. This is the facility going up. It's a steel building on a slab. There's the dish behind it. There's looking down from the dish onto the building. There's the building all finished, and a lot of things going on. This is at our open house. We had this last October. The interior has a bathroom, a kitchen, and our operations center with a large console for the dish and another large console for the ham radio station that we'll put into the center. It's remote. We have a radio station, remote radio station that Paul had given us. I got your call right there on that one, Paul. NO0T. And it's a full power, full function, all mode radio station. It's remotely operated over our DSL internet that we have now. We're soon to get fiber optic to the site, but we can do a lot of things with that station. I'll show you a few pictures of that in a minute. But we also have two new Roam 45 antenna towers on either side of the building. We got a 300 watt EME transmitter and a 2000 watt EVE transmitter at 1296. We'll talk about that more later. Have full hemispherical tracking, like I said. We do a lot of experiments, like ionospheric scintillation experiment with the University of Dallas, Callisto experiment that the data goes up to a data repository. This is sun data off of a wideband antenna that we upload to Switzerland. We have an experimental interferometer that we're working on that's got two 3.8 meter dishes, and we acquired that 30-foot dish from that Silent Key. And of course, we do all the standard radio, amateur radio astronomy experiments like Super SIDS, Radio Jove, and others. The dish, we got the high gain dish. We do pulsar logging, hydrogen line tracking and mapping, Radio Jove in the 15 to 22 megahertz band, Super SIDS in the 3 to 30 kilohertz band, meteor scatter in 30 to 100 megahertz. And we've even done some SETI work at 1.24 gigahertz. That's the hydrogen line, what they call the watering hole. If you're going to listen to aliens, that's where they would be. And anyway, we've done some of that. No, we spent two years looking for extraterrestrials, part of the SETI project, and we gave it up for a while to do other work. It was kind of thankless. but
this
we
is
did
the
do
real
some
Signal movie, everybody. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Jody's our champion and our mascot. So this is a galactic mapping of the galaxy. This is the Milky Way galaxy. One of our members actually did this map by tracking the hydrogen line signal. I think I don't know if I have a picture of it. I guess I didn't leave that in here. But hydrogen emissions are at 1420 megahertz. And that happens when every 10 million years, a hydrogen atom, the electron, flips over. And when it flips over, it emits this tiny little radio signal at 1420 megahertz. But there's a lot of hydrogen. 85% of the universe that is the real material in the universe is hydrogen. So there's a lot of it out there, and where it's denser, we can map that density. And that's what this is, the Milky Way galaxy. We also do pulsar tracking, and pulsars are rapidly spinning neutron stars that generate tremendous magnetic fields and radio signals. So every time the beam from one of these crosses the Earth, we hear a pulse. We don't really hear it. It's below the noise floor, even with a 60-foot dish. And so we use a stacking algorithm to pull these things up out of the noise. And here's 3 examples of different pulsars with different periods. You see, this is like 714 milliseconds down to 253 milliseconds. So far, we've captured 25 individual known pulsars, and as an amateur group, we're fourth in the world for discerning pulsars.
Constantly running this equipment and going over the data later?
No, the data, we've captured the data. It takes anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 days of tracking an individual pulsar. We let the dish track it, and we're collecting the data and putting that into a database. And then we use the stacking algorithm to stack it up, figure out if the pulsar, if we heard it. And these are the plots that come out of the stacking algorithm that show the actual pulsar.
But you're doing that remotely.
Oh, we're on site when we
on
do this.
site when you do that. Okay, clarified that.
Yeah, and we can't really operate the 60-foot dish remotely because it's 65 tons. If anything goes wrong, and it did last week, as Paul knows, he tried to stow it last week, and it took off and went the wrong way. And
no.
without somebody on site, we would have a serious problem. So we don't do it remotely. Here's the remote underground radio station. We're in the bunker here. We have an underground, about a 1,200 square foot bunker. It's subterranean, down about 14 feet below the ground level. And this is Bill operating the station there. This is Paul's station that he gave to the DSES, and he operates that, and almost anybody can operate it remotely over the internet. I don't think you can hear that. This would be a good time if you want to play one of the videos of the kids doing EME. And I can't hear it, so you have to tell me when it's over. Yeah, that was moon bounce. That was using the 1,200 watt amplifier that we just installed. And this other, yeah, go ahead and do another one. Yeah. Okay. I'm going ahead. Go ahead. This is my granddaughter. Yeah, they get a big kick. She thought that was great, but then she saw this old phone, this old green phone on the desk, and said, "What's this?" And we told her that's a telephone, and she said, "No way, that is not a telephone. You hold a telephone in your hand, you put it in your pocket." And so there was a push button phone there probably from the 80s, and she didn't know what it was, so we let her use that too. So one of the things that we did this year was our ultimate goal was to do a QSO and off of Venus. So we'd done the moon, as you heard there. We have very good moon capability. We said, well, why not do Venus? And we did the path loss calculations, and people decided that, yeah, we could probably do that. And so we started up a project to build an amplifier, get a special receiver done, and then we started operating and collaborating with a couple of the European stations. One was the Astropeeler Stockard 25-meter dish group in Germany, and the 25-meter De Wingelo dish group in the Netherlands. That also has the 25-meter dish, and then there was also an 18.3 meter Princeton University campus dish in Walls Township, New Jersey. We got all those together and said, well, help us to do this. We need to do a QSO off of Venus. So can you guys listen while we transmit? And so anyway, this is a very high level of difficulty. There's only one other hand group up until now that had done this. And that was, they had a special dispensation with a 6 kilowatt amplifier and a very large dish. And they were able to get ping off of Venus. But that was back in, I think, when was it? 1988. And so we thought we'd give this a shot. And unfortunately, the path loss is huge. It's 346 dB compared with 283 dB off the moon. We were about 20 dB under the noise floor, and without special um, receive stacking algorithms and digital methods, there's no way we would be able to hear this. And anyway, we tried it. The Wingalo group transmitted theirs. They're 8 hours ahead of us in time, and so the Stockard group received them. They transmitted three about 4-minute signals, and then their transmitter failed. And so, but the Stockard group actually did hear them, and then we had about a 2-hour window with the Duolingo, I can't say that word, that group, and the Lingaboo group, and they did, and so we tried to transmit, and we transmitted for 3 minutes, and we had a shorted fan, and when the fan kicked on to cool the amplifier, it crowbarred the power supply, and we lost it. And so they didn't hear our signal, and so by then it was too late in the day, and the weather came in, and we had to stow the dish, and so we didn't achieve it. But the Lingabo group did, and so we kind of credit ourselves with getting them pushed to do this. Anyway, we're gonna try this again with a better receive system in October of 2026, and we think we'll be successful then.
Me about all of this. Why Venus?
Why not?
I mean, why not Mars? Is this just a better object?
Here's the thing. Venus is only about 40 million miles, okay, away, and Mars is about twice that at its earliest, at its closest conjunction with us, and so it's further away and it's less reflective. Venus, because the atmosphere is ionized, makes a better reflector than Mars does. Mars and the Moon are about the same as far as reflectivity goes, but Mars is so much further away that we'd probably have another 50 dB of loss getting to Mars, and so that's why we haven't gone for Mars.
Yeah, Venus is about the same size as the Earth.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
being
Mars is smaller.
And yeah, Mars is like half that size, so it makes it a bigger target. It's closer, and it's rotating, and nobody, bouncing signals off of other planets is something that not too many people actually do. So we were just,
No kidding.
Except for these groups in Europe.
yeah, well, they proved our hypothesis is what we were trying to say.
Yeah, we helped them prove that they could do it. How's that sound?
That's
Anyway,
awesome. And now it's one for the record books, really. So.
Yep. And this is the amplifier. That's Alex Nersessian. He's the K6VHF. He's an aerospace engineer. He's originally from Georgia, from the old Soviet Union. Very smart guy. He designed our amplifier package here that is actually a 2,000 watt amplifier, but of course we can't use it at that. We have to stay within legal limits, but has a lot of capability. Here they are putting the amplifier into the hub. Everybody uses climbing harnesses. They strap on. Here they are strapped onto the hub of the dish. This is the apex of the dish, and that's the amplifier inside of that hub there, that aluminum hub, and that's the feed amplifier or feed antenna out here in front that feeds the big dish. So anyway, we do a lot of education and outreach. We have an annual open house. We do a lot of demonstrations. We judge science fair. We go to all the ham fests. We have a booth at all the local ham fests anyway. Have site tours of the National Radio Observatories. All of our proceedings and articles are on our website, dses.science. I'm going to say this again at the end, so keep everybody on that. And then we mentor student groups and do a lot of presentations for other civic groups. There's part of the building. We have a big open house every year with a barbecue lunch. The mayor of the tiny town that we're closest to caters the lunch for us to raise money for her 4-H group. And everybody gets a good pulled pork barbecue out of the deal and has a lot of fun. There's more of the open house event And then there's science fair. We host high school and college groups. We have a classroom in the new building, and have the control console there, and giving a student group a presentation. A lot of public outreach. And we made the cover of QST magazine this last month in April with the dish that we reclaimed. It was the 30-foot dish. We're going to get this put back up. We're going to need donations to pour the foundation for this and get the tower back up. We'll have to rent another crane. This is the crane taking it down. It's in QST for the April issue, and the whole article about how that was done is in QST, so you have to look that up. And then we have meetings twice a month. There's an engineering meeting on the second Monday of the month at 6:30 Mountain Time, a science Zoom meeting every fourth Monday of the month at 6:30 Mountain Time, have a standing site work trip every third Saturday. Actually, lately it's been probably about 2 trips a week. And then to join DSCS, it costs $50 a year for full voting membership, and you can join at on PayPal at our site. I think here's what's on the site. If you go to the dscs.science, you can go to the membership page, and you'll find this donation and you can use PayPal or a credit card there. And you can also donate crypto and stocks. Paul got that set up. So we're looking for anybody that wants to help us out, and we can. Yeah. We'll take gold too, but
how to
that's a
get
little
gold
harder.
bars next.
So that's about it. Don't forget to go to this website, DSCS. You don't need the HTTP. Just type it in your browser, dscs.science. And that's all I've got. Any questions?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yes, where are you located?
We're in far southeast Colorado, near Haswell, Colorado, little town of about 60 people. And we're about 5 miles from Haswell. And we're 30 miles from the nearest hotel, 35 miles from the nearest hotel. And so we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but it's a very quiet radio place. And so Paul's radio station is probably about the most quiet radio station in the United States, I would say, for interference.
Correct. So it's like the biggest town, and when I say biggest town, like one that has a Walmart. So that would be like La Junta?
La Junta, Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. I think La Junta doesn't even have a Walmart. I think Pueblo has a Walmart.
Okay. So east of Pueblo, La Junta, if anyone pays attention to Hiram Percy Maxim, he died in La Junta, Colorado, or Lamar, one of the two. Yeah, I know. Crazy facts. Yeah. Any other questions, Josh?
Well, that's becoming a bigger problem. Generally, satellite frequencies are well above the stuff that we operate at. So generally, the frequency and the harmonics are above most of the things we're doing. We're seeing a lot of interference from military communication in airplanes and things like that, more so than satellites. Right. Yeah. If we get up in the above the the 4 gig range, you're going to start seeing some of this.
Yeah, we're looking at right now to if we can get donations to buy some equipment so that we're going to be able to listen up around 8 gigahertz, which is where a lot of the satellites, where a lot of the space projects are done. And one of our goals is to see if we can hear Voyager 1, which is
wow.
it's
way far.
It's 15 billion miles away, so it's a long way to walk.
It's 23 hours right now, light speed to Voyager.
You already got a question in the chat doing exactly that, so you're already ahead of the game here, guys. I think that was actually my last question for you. Was what are you going to look at some of those probes that we put out? I think New Horizons probably maybe even further than that, right? So Voyager might be a good first challenge, right, before going for the big dog.
Yeah, it's been up there for 47 years and counting.
Yeah, Voyager is the furthest out of it.
Oh, it is the furthest. Oh, okay. We'll go for that then. Yeah, let's do it. I can't wait to come back and tell us how that goes.
But everybody, they need some money to do that. So go smash that PayPal donate button, or if you got some
join.
crypto laying around,
join
become
them.
a member and get something out of it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Always looking for people to come on down. We serve good food.
Yeah.
You sold half of the audience on pulled pork. So, you got that coming
Indeed.
for you.
Well, we can always use people that like to do infrastructure projects and do work. The gentleman was talking about mowing the parking lot at Hamvention. And so we need that kind of thing too. People that have tractors and mowers and all of that sort of thing. We just need a lot of labor. Yeah.
We love some engineers who are, mechanical engineers to help us with coming up with the base for the new 30-foot dish that we want to put up. So we'll have 2 dishes.
Excellent.
There you go. Anything else you want the audience to know, gentlemen?
Just that we're looking for members. Right now, we only have about 120 members. So where else could you get to play with a 60-foot radio telescope?
Yes.
For the nominal fee of $50 for a membership. Right?
You can crawl up inside it actually and get on the dish.
So it's quite the experience.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for being on here, and I always get to run into you at HamFest, so I'm a bit more fortunate than everybody watching. But thanks, and come back on your next bit of news, and we'd love to have you, and you take us along on your journey. Okay.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We're going to break with them, and I'm going to take a break because AR Newsline is next. Dawn, you've just been sitting there, honey. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What a cool organization, this DSES.science. I checked that website out while they were talking about that. Is neat. It would be worth the $50 a year just to be able to remote operate that ham station. I can't imagine how quiet that would be there. You guys have my interest peaked just in that alone, but just the science you guys are doing. There's some big brains out there in Colorado. So, man, congratulations to you guys. Let's go ahead and get into the news of the week now from the crew over at Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2479, this is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. If you want to have as many quality QSOs as possible, you want to deploy the best antenna possible. That's why a 40-foot extendable antenna was launched into space aboard a European Space Agency satellite on Tuesday, April 29th from French Guiana. Its goal is communication with more than 1.5 trillion trees around the world.
The biomass probe that has been put into space by ESA is looking to log trees, but it's not the kind of logging commonly associated with forests. During the next 5 years, this antenna will be using P-band radar transmissions to collect data on how much carbon is stored in trees on a number of continents, and thus gauge climate change as a result of deforestation, according to a report by the BBC. This kind of satellite with an antenna that is 12 metres in diameter is the first of its kind for such a mission. The band's relatively long wavelength is an asset because it permits the signals to see deeply inside forests in a manner scientists have compared to how a CT scan operates. The idea was proposed by the National Centre for Earth Observation, whose director, John Remedios, told the BBC that the goal is to, quote, interrogate these forests, end quote. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Bell Labs, which has a long history of making bold and notable moves in technology, is marking its 100th anniversary by preparing for another bold move, this time to a new headquarters.
As it turns 100, Nokia Bell Labs is turning elsewhere to continue its important research in the fields of technology and science. The company announced that within the next 2 years, it will relocate to a smaller but more modern facility in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and out of the lab's longtime home in Murray Hill, New Jersey. Over the years, Bell's scientists have been credited with developing the transistor, making advances in radio astronomy, and being in the vanguard to usher in the digital age. The company has been the recipient of numerous Turing Awards and Nobel Prizes. Its core business continues to be mobile and optical networks and network systems support. One of its most recent innovations was the development of circuit boards printed on glass. These are for use in beam steering antennas to get less signal loss in point-to-point fixed wireless. This is considered an important development as wireless communications moves increasingly towards 6G. This is Celembi, KB3 TZD.
This has been a year for introspection in the world of communication. The IARU is examining whether to restructure. In the U.S., the FCC is evaluating the full scope of its rules and regulations. And in the U.K., the BBC is looking at ways to rechart its course.
With its charter set to expire in 2027, the BBC is using this year and next to examine its relationship with audiences across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. BBC account holders have begun receiving questionnaires to complete online to let the broadcaster know how they see its future. Tim Davie, BBC Director General, said the questionnaire, which takes about 10 minutes to complete, is the first of the BBC's two-part research process to include later audience polling, and the results will contribute towards the BBC's charter review process. The BBC's written introduction to the questionnaire states, quote, "The BBC belongs to all of us. That's why it matters that we understand what you want the BBC to offer you and your family, and the UK overall," unquote. It's planned to publish the findings from the questionnaire later this year. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A reminder, the nominating period for the 2025 Bill Pasternak WA6 ITF Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award closes on Saturday, May 31st at midnight Eastern Time. Since 1986, we've honored the best of the best young people in amateur radio for their efforts in expanding the state-of-the-art of the service and using ham radio to make the world a better place. The presentation will take place Saturday, August 16th at the Huntsville Hamfest in Huntsville, Alabama. You can find more information and the nomination form on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Awards tab. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Celembi, KB3TZD, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. And another good report from the Newsline, folks. Don't forget now, the end of May, May 31st, is the closing of the nominating period for the Young Ham of the Year Award. We have one nominee, I believe, so far got in at the beginning of the nominating period in March, but seems like everyone procrastinates to the end. We're at the end now. May 31st at midnight Eastern is the deadline. So if you know of a deserving young radio amateur, be sure and get their name in the hat, and we will do all of this in about 3 months let's see, was it May? Yeah, in 3 months. And it's exactly 3 months after Dayton. So the third weekend in August at the Huntsville, Alabama Hamfest. So big thanks to the Newsline crew for getting that together. Nothing from Dr. Scove this week, but you can always check her out on X at Tamitha Scove, and also YouTube, also Tamitha Scove, and of course, spaceweatherwoman.com. Don't forget, speaking of youth, when you go to Dayton and Hamvention, right there in the tent near the main entrance, you'll be able to get to the Venture Crew 73 Scout tent and get your lanyard. They're very inexpensive. They will laminate your ticket and hang it from the lanyard. You put it right around your neck, and that way, if anyone challenges you for your ticket, you have to show it. It'll be right there, and it's very, very handy. You'll never lose it, and it's also a great souvenir. Pick up some for some of your club members, maybe, who aren't going to be able to come and enjoy that again. And also, just want to thanks again to the folks at Riverland Amateur Radio Club over in Wisconsin for having me at their club meeting via Zoom last night. That was a lot of fun. Those guys are great. So W9UP, thank you guys so much. Now let's have some more fun. It's time for, I believe, isn't it? Hammet, Can It, or What Am It?
It is time.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited.
I love this segment. This is my favorite.
I didn't have great ones. People, I don't even have an excuse for people. I don't know. It wasn't as fun to me. At
one
least.
Never does one?
I can't make excuses for everyone else in this world. Okay.
Too busy making your own.
I know, right? Let's get started. Okay. I know nothing about this radio, but Josh knows. The TK11, some kind of handy-talkie, it has two PTTs. What in the actual, I would be so screwed up. I don't know what your guys' thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't
I've seen several that have that.
No.
Yeah.
I am a no. Hardcore no.
don't have one. No, you know what? I do have one here. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. 2 PTT buttons. And so it's an A and B channel. So you have like simplex on top and your favorite repeater on the bottom. Yeah. It's great.
If you're trying to monitor two things,
Or you scan the second one and you want to bring it out of
Mm.
scan quick. So you want to hit the PTT button to bring it out of scan because it's going to go to the next one. Now I gotcha. I gotcha.
I would have a problem. I would always talk on the wrong one, and then I would
that would
like,
be
"Dang
something to
it."
get used to for sure.
I think it's just a learning curve. Okay,
Sure.
enough. This is just really cute. This guy did a really good job on his little truck install that he can add his ham stick on at any time. But I'm just gonna one little critique, you guys. When you
Mhm.
post your installs, like show us the install. Show me where your
Where you route it.
lines are. Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Maybe get a little tighter
me
in
your
on your
routing.
photography as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That too.
You know what?
That'd
You know
be
what I
handy.
think he. You know what I think he loves more than anything is that you called it a cute install on his little truck.
Yeah,
It's a
on his
Tacoma.
Tacoma. This is a little
little
truck
truck.
compared to an F-350. Yeah, it's a nice.
It's a
truck.
cute
Okay.
install.
Tacomas are nice.
Your truck costs more than all of my vehicles combined, sir. Okay.
Yeah, Toyota trucks
Yeah.
are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
The most expensive truck I have is a 2014 F250. Yeah, there's just no
That's
comparison.
Pretty
But
good. Pretty good though.
okay, so yes,
You can haul
just
more.
I love the install. Just show me more because I have more questions. Okay. Oh my gosh, this I ran into this and I only recognize it because I have seen these laid in my house before on my dining room table. But for everyone else, what am it? If you couldn't guess,
Repeater.
anybody? Yes, it's a repeater. So this I did the translation. I didn't do it on here, but I knew it already because it had the letters 430 on it. So I knew it was a UHF repeater. So anyhow, he's been having a fun time trying to figure out what's going on with it. So good luck, my man in Japan.
Good
but
luck. I
yeah.
like his little breadboard he's got there off the side too. So there's got some mods on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that the mod was actually that it was commercial and he's modding it for ham.
Very likely.
Totally.
That's what happens with a lot of repeaters because a lot of the commercial repeaters, not to go on a wild tangent here, but once it's just for everybody's knowledge, a lot of these commercial repeaters are older than like 2013. They all had to go to narrowband. So they were worthless to commercial after 2013. So they're basically pennies on the dollar kind of stuff. And that's why you saw a lot of them on eBay. So I only know that because of my wonderful husband and his repeater obsession. Okay, moving on. I thought this was like a fake radio. Evidently, it's real.
It's pretty cute. You could put that in your little truck.
It is teeny tiny cute. And and for the life of me, it just has slipped my mind. But when you had like the fake kitchen when you're a kid, what is that?
Fisher
brand
Price.
name?
Fisher Price.
Yeah,
Fisher Price.
It does have that
looks
look to
like
it. Yeah.
a
It does.
Fisher Price radio. And
Yeah,
I thought
it
it was
does.
AI, but it's actually a real radio. So
No, it's real. Yep.
I've
I've seen videos on it.
I will not own this radio, but
It's probably not
fine.
enough power. It's probably like 20 watts, I think.
I don't even know. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Fisher Price radio right there. This, I was just confused. New radio
Oh.
mounts,
Put your
color
eight-
options are available. What is
Yeah.
it?
You put all your clipped HTs. You
So
slap
the clip.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
they clip in.
so it's like little clippy
the
clip.
back. Yeah, the
Okay,
back clip.
so that
Yeah, you can
just-
put your extra batteries up there. You can, whatever, hang
That's
anything with a
handy.
hook on it.
I 100% need like 4 of these.
I know, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my god, that's genius.
That's handy.
that is a
Wow.
Hammet. That is a Hammet indeed.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely. Now that I understand more, because I wasn't sure, but now, yeah, that's awesome.
I love it.
And I bet that's some kind of like 3D printed Hummer
Black
that you can
hand
find online.
3D. I'm googling that right
And-
now. How do I?
And now more color options are available, you guys. So
I would
Good to know.
hope that at least part of that, like the strap that is on there, is metal, because if you get a bunch of HTs and
Oh,
batteries
it-
on there, that could get kind of
yeah,
heavy.
I
It-
have
it
some
better be
big,
metal.
heavy.
I found
My
it.
public safety radio, I would be scared to death to put
Yeah.
it.
You
on
know
there.
what? Can I
Okay.
just
Yeah.
take a second here?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this up for
Yeah.
a second. I found it. It's on Etsy.
Okay,
It's like $18. That's
Oh.
that's cheap.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I just dropped the link for it. And then, yeah, so we got glow in the dark. Oh, wait, is this 3D printed? Oh, it might be 3D printed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's
Probably
the case, I'll
is.
break it.
I would be worried
wait,
about
wait, wait.
longevity.
So it's got little supports in the middle.
Support bars. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a little better.
That's not bad. That's still workable.
That would probably last.
I
a
need
while.
that for my camper like so bad.
There you go. There
Wow.
it is.
And if it did break off, you could always just super glue it or epoxy it back together. So, but hell, for $18, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
that's
Oh, you
nice.
got color options too, plus the glow in the dark. I like the glow in the dark thing, especially like for a emergency trailer or something.
Yeah, if you have your key rack right next to it, you grab your keys and your radio and head out to work or whatever.
That'd be handy. Oh yeah, that'd be handy.
I'm thinking
You're
that
welcome, Frank.
a lot of halfway decent people could probably make this themselves.
I
like
think we
print
can
it.
do
Yeah.
a thing.
I'm sure. But for $18, I mean, that's not bad.
That's not bad. The bridging is actually kind of difficult if you printed that flat.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is just how many radios are in this photo? I don't even know.
Too many to count.
Oh no! I realize that's not 2 pictures. Oh my goodness, that's that's a lot of radios.
That's a bunch of radios.
I love that the 7100 is for the passenger. That's my favorite part.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get overloaded.
Yeah.
And also the 10-meter radio looks like it's. Well, I don't know. Is that right-hand drive?
I mean, and don't forget the car radio. So
that's right-hand drive. Look where the shifter is.
Oh, you're
yeah,
totally right.
this is Japanese.
That's all.
First one is
that's
from
all
Japan.
aimed at the
Yeah.
driver.
I think it's like a
At
Prius.
first,
That's
I
a
thought
Prius.
maybe it was. Do you think I have
It's
never
a Prius
been inside a
or
Prius?
a Nissan Leaf. No, it's a Prius. That's a Prius.
Yeah.
I think it's Prius.
Well, all I know is that's a hell of a lot of radios.
My
in a
guy
very
has put
small
all the
spot.
radios in the car there.
All of them. Yes, they're good to go. And I bet there's radios that we haven't seen yet in there.
I'm sure.
Moving on.
Oh,
what Hammet?
I know
what
it
this
is.
for?
I know exactly
It's
what
like
that is.
A counterpoise adapter kit, and I'm confused.
Tiger tail.
Explain.
Okay, so Signal Stick, who I have been affiliated with for a very long time. I love those guys. They're the makers of hamstudy.org. They make antennas out of flexible metal. They came out with a counterpoise kit, which is a BNC adapter that has the little nubbin on the side of it. But the nubbin actually is keyed. So when you slide the little pigtail on it, it kind of locks into place, and you got to squeeze it a little bit, and then it comes off, so it doesn't just yank off. And so their argument, and I've tested it in the field. I will be posting a video about performance improvements with a tiger tail here shortly. They argue that you get a little bit better match, if you will, to your 2-meter, 70-centimeter quarter wave antenna is kind of what they say with that.
Is it needed? Like, give me why would you need that just that extra or just?
Well, if you think about the HT, you're really just you're kind of passively bonded to the radio, and there's metal in the radio. Like, what's the other half of the radio? Because it's a quarter wave vertical, you need another quarter wave element on the other side. And so their idea there is that helps give you the other half of the antenna, if you will. So what will my testing show? I don't know. Tune in probably in a couple of weeks and find out.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I know the tiger tail's been around a long time. I remember that was a thing when I first got my license in '95.
Yep.
Okay, one more thing about this. So you're just doing this like you're in the field doing this? Like
No, I just when I wear
hiking up
my
a hill, or
when I wear my
okay.
HT everywhere, I just got that hanging off of there.
Mhm.
Mine's bright orange though. Just I want people to see it.
Yeah.
So they don't run into it, or
No, just they know.
Well, it's
that
not
I'm-
like it's dragging behind you. It's probably about the same length as the whip.
They're just like, big ham coming. Get out of the way. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
okay.
That's right.
So it's like your high vis vest at
That's
convention. Got it.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. It's my whacker vest.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly.
Once again, I thought this was a fake radio.
It is real. That
No.
is 100%
It is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked totally AI to me, and then started reading here and like, no, this looks real. Okay, so
Yep.
Picks
up a lot of
just
stuff.
showing it off. You got a whole lot of stuff. It even looks like it has some kind of compass or some crud on it. I don't even know, but
That's the tuning
interesting.
dial, I believe, or it's a visual representation, an analog representation of the digital tuning dial. Yeah, and it
Okay.
does pick up airband, which I'm fascinated with. So yeah.
Well,
That's
it's
neat.
made by Hanrongda. So there you go.
Oh well, you can't go wrong
There
there.
you go.
I know. They probably bought it off of Bangkok. Right?
And hang
Bang-
wrong
no,
dot to
Bang
you
good.
too.
Bang good. That's
Yes, that's exactly where
out
it
of
came from.
Bangkok.
Yeah,
Out of
that's where
Bangkok.
it came
doing
out.
that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Clean that up nicely. Thank
Yep.
you.
Well done.
this is this person's travel pack to the beach
That's
in Brazil.
really-
Wow. What am
That's
I looking
serious.
at?
Isn't that it's just a crazy setup? So nothing says beach day like this. Yes, this is just
Wow.
That's impressive.
I mean, I'm guessing that the antenna itself is all like foldable though, so it probably folds down pretty nicely, but
Like
still,
an
that's
umbrella,
like,
probably. Yeah, it looks like it's got a mesh, a flexible mesh in between there.
So he's like
that's neat.
lowest frequency is 70 centimeters, it looks like, and then it's
Wow.
microwave on the dish.
yeah, so
Wow.
like 1296. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's
looks fine.
impressive.
This guy
That's very cool.
posts some really cool stuff on Instagram. You should follow him. But he always has some kind of cool
Wow.
project or shares somebody else's cool projects. Spool antenna.
Oh, I've seen
So-
these. These are cool. Yeah.
It is. I'm starting to see these in my feeds a lot where people are taking these out on their POTUS and stuff. And I'm guessing it's price point is just easy to buy and easy to haul around. So Josh, I don't know if you have any experience with these, but
I do. Yeah, they
Okay.
sent me one of their prototype models, and
Oh, okay.
I did a video with it. It's basically an end fed on a spool instead of like a wire winder, and the transformer is built into the center of the spool. It's completely novel. It's a really good approach to having an end fed half wave on your person when you're out and about. It's a good piece of kit. Yeah, and they're relatively. What's that? 40. Yeah, it goes 10 through 40. But I think that's exactly the way I would. It's about the size of a fly reel, maybe a little bit smaller, and I'll pull that up
Could
too.
probably actually go and buy a cheap fly reel and make their own if they wanted to.
So 40 through 10 meters. Yeah, you
Yep.
got it
Yeah.
exactly there. So
yeah, it looks pretty handy dandy.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking always be nice to have one just to throw in a bag if you don't actually use it. Just to
Because that's always been the thing when you go out and do your thing is okay, you've got the unun, the 49-to-1 unun,
Mhm.
and now you've got this 66 foot hank of wire. What do you wrap it up around or whatever? So
Mhm.
people have got like a cottage industry of making wire wraps for these things, and building the actual unun onto the wire wrapper. But this is nice because you just spool it right up. There's 2 or 3 people that are doing these wind up antennas. It's a great idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they're getting more cost effective. Well, okay, so it was cost effective now. I don't know about when getting parts now to build this stuff from overseas, how that's going. But okay, that's the end of my Hammet or
Need a,
Hammet, so
need a
I'm gonna stop
toroid,
sharing.
some wire, and a capacitor, and a BNC is about all you need.
I don't want to jump in and speak out of turn, but I think most that's built in the U.S. So the
Is
things
it?
that
Yeah.
would be
Okay.
the things that would be not findable here is the toroid that they build the transformer out of. I mean, that could be from out of overseas, and then maybe the PCBs because it's a spool that's built on PCBs, and those
Yeah.
are probably specialized PCBs they make in China. But there's no reason they couldn't make them somewhere else. Hypothetically,
Sure.
I don't know. I don't want to assume.
Yeah,
Probably get the toroid at DX Engineering.
yeah. That I was
In
thinking
fact, I know
DX
you can.
DXC is
yeah.
a good place to look if you're looking for parts. So
Mhm.
that's the end. That's
We-
Hammet
Good
Cannon or what
stuff.
Hammet.
We
So
did
it was.
it.
It actually was. Now going through them again,
good
it was
stuff, yeah.
pretty good stuff.
Those
So
were all Hammets. I don't think I had a
Yeah.
Cannet in there.
I
If you'd
didn't
like
find
to,
a Cannon.
if you'd like to see a Cannet, go watch the video that I dropped like 2 days ago about a particular person going through a blackout in Spain. I was texting Amanda live on that one, and I don't know if she watched the video yet, but
I didn't watch it yet because I have this thing about a phobia of watching videos on my phone. I don't know why with volume. Weird. It's
okay.
for my therapist.
We'll save that for another another
Yeah.
Hamnation.
That's a whole other
unpacking
story.
that. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's because of everybody else that walks around on their phone and they were just watching a video really, really loud, and then
Oh, I
they
hate that.
accidentally turn on Facebook and there's some blazing reel that they didn't
Oh.
mean to while they're checking out at the store or
Yeah.
something. So it's my fear that I forget to turn my volume back down and I open my phone and something ridiculous.
Mhm.
First of
Yeah.
all, my husband sends me some crazy stuff. So okay, enough
Right.
said.
And
Let's
but speaking of that, my pet peeve is people walking around talking like this on their speakerphone in public. I almost got ran over in Walmart the other day. I'm trying to leave work, and going through the Walmart parking lot is the most time efficient way. Otherwise, I'm going to get caught at a stop sign, and the traffic this way does not stop. So the most efficient way is for me to go through the edge of the Walmart parking lot to get out. And I'm sitting there, and this idiot woman comes whipping through, making a turn into the Walmart parking lot, and she's talking on the phone like this. I guess she thinks that just because she's on the speakerphone, lady, this is just about as hands-free as this is. Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate that. Anyway, okay, so I'm off my. That's my rant for the week. Thank you.
So you're saying you don't like that, John?
Yes.
Yeah. No, not a bit. Not even a little bit.
So we're gonna go over nets. Thank you for staying late, you netters out there. 14 Charlie is D-Star net, and we have 40 meter 7192. If they're still stuck around, we appreciate you. Thank you, viewers, for sticking around. We had some hiccups tonight, but
my bad.
It happens. Brown out.
It is one of these days that we'll have a smooth Hamnation show, and then we will do a mic drop, and we'll never do another one again.
Well, then we're going to be here for a long time.
That's how confident I am that's going to work out. So, just saying.
We will not know how to act.
No. That is my retirement day. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate you. Everyone that's headed to Hamvention, have a safe trip. Have a lot of fun. Bring that extra credit card because you know you're going to use it. And 7-3. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
73.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.